it is right, and then there were 4. This is NBA Today, and I'm Malika Andrews. The conference finals, they are set. The Cavaliers, they're going to face a fully rested New York Knicks team. That's tomorrow night, and we are going to be there. But tonight, we have the top 2 seeds in the West. The Thunder, the Spurs, they face off in what has a chance to be a historically great, I'm talking all-time great series. So let's get into it, shall we? Chiney Ogwumike, Danny Green. My friends, let's start out east. Why not? That's our series here on ESPN and ABC. And Chiney, when you're looking at the biggest question in this series, what is that?
I think they can do it. Can the New York Knicks actually deliver?
Wow.
Not just coming out of the Eastern Conference, winning the finals, but more so, can they win it all? This is the hottest team in basketball. We've never seen a 10-game stretch where they're outscoring their opponents by bonkers numbers like this. So I'm excited to see if the Knicks can keep it rolling all the way to the top.
And it does. I know Jalen Brunson is on the screen right here, but it does feel like Karl Anthony Towns is the single player that we're all going to keep an eye on. More on that in just a bit. But Danny, we know there is so much excitement about this Western Conference Finals. The biggest question here is what?
Does the regular season matter?
Ooh, good one.
I mean, OKC and San Antonio has had great matchups, and San Antonio's beat them most of the time, 4 out of 5 times, I believe. Matchups, I think maybe 6 times in a short span. But to me, regular season does not matter. So I give a slight edge to OKC because of experience. But this Spurs team is hungry, and they could definitely get it done in 6 games if they play like they play.
Does the regular season matter? Interesting. You know what I think the regular season tells us, Chiney?
What does it?
It tells us that the Spurs are capable. It doesn't necessarily mean they will, but that the San Antonio Spurs are capable. And to Danny's point, the Spurs, they are the only team with a winning record against the Thunder this season. They won 4 out of those 5 meetings, right? San Antonio, they won both home games against Oklahoma City. They did win at that neutral site, the game in Las Vegas for the Cup semifinal, right? And then the Christmas Day game in Oklahoma City, but I know that was months ago. I think all of us could use a little refresher here. So let's go back, Chiney, to mid-December. It was San Antonio, OKC in the NBA Cup semifinals. This is when De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, Victor, who came off the bench, combined to score 89 points.
They'll need to have that type of production against the #1 defense and the #1 squad in OKC.
And they barely eke this one out. The final score 111-109. So then San Antonio, they would lose the NBA Cup final 10 days later, but when they welcomed OKC into town, this was another dominant performance from San Antonio. Despite a quiet night from Wemby, he only had 12 points. It was Keldon Johnson, the 6th man of the year. Yeah, he dropped 25 on top of 24 from Steph Castle, a 20-point win. So make it 2 for San Antonio in 10 days. And that brings us to Christmas Day. In just 26 minutes, Wemby was excellent. 19 points, 11 rebounds. The Spurs picked up their second double-digit win over OKC. Here's J-Dub when he was talking about Wemby and his impact after this game.
There's this guy on their team that's 7'5" and takes up a lot of space on the court.
You don't lose to a team 3 times in a row in a short span without them being better than you. So we have to get better.
Ooh, so does that still apply now? Well, in January, Shea, he took matters into his own hands. Here's Chiney. The now 2-time MVP, he poured in 34 points, 11 of 23 shooting. So OKC returns a little bit of a favor. They had a 21-point win in this one. So that brings us to February. 3 weeks later, the 5th and final matchup of the season. The Spurs win, but take it with a little bit of a grain of salt because you can see they were missing a ton of players in this one.
Chess match.
Spurs, they get the win. They finished 4-1 against the defending champs. So to your point, Danny, the question is, does any of that matter now in the Western Conference Finals? Here's what the odds makers say, right? The Thunder, they are the -260 favorites. The Spurs, they have +210 odds. So actually not a huge difference here, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, but a difference maker could be the health of this series. So let's say hello to our senior insider, Shams Charania, who joins us fresh off brunch. Shams, big news in Oklahoma City ahead of tonight's matchup against the Spurs. What update do you have on J-Dub here?
Malika, Jalen Williams has been cleared to play in Game 1 tonight against the Spurs. J-Dub actually said on his YouTube channel over the weekend that he is fully healthy and he's going to be a full throttle go in this Game 1. And the reality is the Thunder being able to sweep the first 2 rounds of this series, the first round, the second round, now up until the conference finals, allowed J-Dub additional time to get right and get some rest in. If the series last round had extended, we would have seen him back late in that series but now he's rested and ready to go against the Spurs.
And we know that he is going to be a huge factor in this series. In fact, behind Kenrich Williams, who defended Victor Wembanyama the most for the for the Oklahoma City Thunder, rather, it was J-Dub. Shams, thank you very much for that insight. We're going to be seeing you soon in the Eastern Conference Finals. But this series, friends, it's just going to be the third time in postseason history that it's featured two teams that enter the series that have outscored their opponents by 125. It's the first time it's happened before the finals, by the way. Look at these teams. 2017, the Warriors beat the Cavaliers in 5 games.
Ooh.
And then in 2013,
Ooh, good year.
Your boy.
yeah, the Miami Heat they beat the Spurs in 7 games. So these two teams, they have a rivalry that I think could define maybe even the next 10 years. We're just at the beginning of it, Shanae. But when you're looking at what this series is going to come down to, what's it going to be?
So this postseason, I've been giving you game changers,
Yes.
and now I'm going to add another thing to the conversation.
Ooh, what we got?
It's the one thing to watch. And in this matchup, in the Western Conference Finals, please, I implore you, watch corner threes. Because the San Antonio Spurs, if you think about it, they're the top team in attempts when it comes to corner threes. Oklahoma City, ironically, allows the most corner threes. So this could be an advantage point for the Spurs. Let's break it down here with the tape. De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama, excellent scorers. You have all of the areas of the court available. But what Victor does so uniquely when he plays downhill is he drags the entire defense with him. We talk about that gravitational stat. That's here in full effect, and it leads to amazing vision right here, making the easy pass. And everyone knows that's the shortest three. You're a good shooter.
Yep.
You're a great shooter. The shortest three is the corner three,
Easiest
Danny.
one.
I got the Danny cosign, so I ain't lying. Again, getting downhill, Victor Wembanyama, he has advantages. I mean, he's 7'5", whether it was Caruso or anybody in front of him. He's going to attack the rim, and that leads to easy finds on the outside. So if San Antonio is looking for a path for success, it's identifying those shooters in the corner when Victor occupies. But it all hinges on him playing inside and out.
Right.
Not outside and in.
And so oftentimes we're looking at, all right, it's Chet versus Victor Wembanyama, because Wendy does it better than anyone. Talk about going back to their days as teenagers playing against each other.
Yeah.
They don't actually match up one-on-one all that often here, Danny, but still you have your eye on the two of them. Why?
I do. I mean, because they have history. And it's going to be interesting to see what Mark Daigneault does with the matchups. Isaiah Hartenstein, is he going to put him on Castle, or is he going to have him guard Wemby and then Chet be the backside? But this matchup, it goes back to they're like 15 years old. They really don't like each other. They're so competitive. But Chet, he's been huge for them. You know, he shot 38 from 3 in the series. He was 96% from the field, well, close to 5 feet or close to the basket. 24 for 25 in that Lakers series. 37 for 38 in the whole postseason. That's the last player to do that in the last 30 years. So, and then Victor on the other side, he told opponents to 28% at the rim. So if Chet can stretch the floor, knock down threes, but also be an impact on the rim, this can help OKC kind of get past San Antonio Spurs in this series. But it's going to rely on these two matchups. It starts with Wemby defensively and Chet offensively, but also defensively protecting the rim for OKC.
If there were no Victor Wembanyama, we might be looking at Chet being Defensive Player of the Year, which is ironic, and I think he will want to prove that he is that guy. And let's be real, he's coming off of his best playoff series ever, Chet Holmgren, and so he's going to be feeling confident. I know the J-Dub factor is important, but, like, he's been that number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Now, he just can't play passive. He has to dictate, but I don't know how you do that with Victor Wembanyama.
I mean, there's another guy that I could say is a number 2. AJ Mitchell has really emerged. You know, they have a lot of guys, Casey Wallace, Alex Caruso, you know, Jared McCain off the bench. But AJ Mitchell, the resurgence of him has been a delight for OKC, especially with J-Dub being out. Now, how to integrate those two together is going to be interesting. This is where J-Dub can come back and kind of be like a Jason Tatum role, where he doesn't have to be a scorer right away. He can rebound, could be defense, and assist and facilitate. But they're going to need his offense. They're going to need both those guys being healthy and playing at a high level, because the Spurs team is very deep.
In the regular season, the Spurs dared OKC's other shooters, right? They dared the Alex Carusos, even the Lou Dorts of the world. Okay.
We'll live with that.
We're going to live with that, right? But we didn't see Jared McCain in the form we did against the Lakers at that point. We didn't see A.J. Mitchell, even though he was already excellent, to the same degree that we're seeing him now as a bona fide role player in the postseason. And so is that strategy for San Antonio going to work? Or is Mark Daigneault